The term pay your dues was a phrase that I heard over and over again at the start of my career, and to be honest with you, these words always rubbed me the wrong way. Career growth is not linear and definitely isn't the same for everyone, and just because you have a certain number of years of experience under your belt doesn't necessarily mean anything about what you know or what you can do. The people I started out with in the industry in 2012 have all experienced very different levels of success at this point, and the progression of each of their careers has been heavily influenced by the actions that each person has taken during this time, rather than just the fact that they've stuck around for this long. So if you are watching this and you're not okay with just waiting for time to pass to be able to get to where you want to go, and you want to proactively do the things necessary to accelerate your career growth, in this video, let's walk through 3 things that I've seen firsthand help real estate professionals vastly outperform their peers in a very short period of time, and the things that you can do in your own career to set yourself up to do the same. So the first point on this list is about who you surround yourself with and the expectations of those individuals, and this is to start out your career by working in a major gateway market, ideally New York or Los Angeles. New York and LA are 2 of the biggest and most active real estate markets in the entire US, with a vast majority of major investment, development, brokerage, and lending firms having some sort of an office presence in one or both of these cities. These metros are home to some of the largest and most valuable commercial properties in the country, and are also home to some of the largest private equity firms and institutions that serve as major funding sources for commercial real estate deals. And because of the availability of capital and the amount of transaction volume that occurs in these markets, the best and the brightest in the industry tend to gravitate towards these cities to maximize their earning potential and build their careers. And when top talent comes together like this to compete for jobs and win new business, this ends up raising the bar for everyone in the market, which makes the expectations when you're working in cities like these significantly higher, and the pace of work significantly faster than what you'd experience in other parts of the country. By learning from and competing with the best of the best in the industry, you automatically pick up those best practices that help these people play the game at the highest level, which you can then use to advance your own career quickly by learning how to do things like source off-market deals, raise institutional capital, or even leverage that experience into opportunities outside of a major metro if you decide not to stay in the city long term. And if New York or LA aren't where you want to be, other major metros like San Francisco, Chicago, Boston, and Washington, D.C. can also be great places to start out your career, since these cities also tend to be hubs for talented people looking to get ahead. My point is that spending your first 2 years in the industry working in St. Louis will make you a drastically different professional than spending your first 2 years in the industry working in Manhattan. And if you have the opportunity and the desire to start out in a major metro first, there are a lot of benefits to going this route. Now, somewhat related to this is point number 2 on this list, which can also be heavily influenced by the city you decide to live in, and this is to pursue jobs with the expectation of long hours early on in your career. Now, obviously, working 80-hour weeks is not fun, and this type of pace isn't sustainable forever, but if you can do this, even for a short period of time, when you're first getting started in the industry, you can end up drastically ahead of your peers by the time you're in your mid-20s. Earlier on in my career, I worked for a company called HFF, which was acquired by JLL in 2019, and HFF was very well known for its expectations of hard work and long hours from analysts, and this was especially true in the New York and LA offices. And while this wasn't necessarily an easy environment to succeed in, the people that made it through the 2 to 3 year time commitment required at the analyst level ended up light years ahead of the vast majority of their peers, and were either making multiple 6 figures in brokerage just 3 to 5 years into their career, or they were able to leverage that experience into a mid-level role on the principal side of the business. For most people, the early years of your career between the ages of about 22 and 26 represent a time period when you have a significant amount of freedom, and if you're serious about your career, this is the time to get ahead before you have things like family obligations that can make it much harder to put in extra time at the office. Talking to a young real estate professional who's put in 80 hours a week for 2 years straight at an institutional firm is significantly different than talking with someone who's put in 40 hours a week over that same time period. And if you think about it, this really just comes down to the person working 80-hour weeks literally having double the time on task. But while time on task is linear, skill progression compounds, and during this time, the person putting in long hours is also consistently learning to do things faster, more efficiently, and more accurately every day. And if this person is effectively getting 2 workdays in for every one of their peers, and each person improves their skill set by just half a percentage point every single day, at the end of a 2-year time frame, that person putting in 80-hour weeks has double the experience, but a skill set that is more than 12 times stronger than their peers. To put it really simply, you get what you put in, and the person that is willing to make the sacrifices necessary, even if just over the short term, can significantly speed up their progression and allow that progression to compound as they continue in their career. And finally, the last point on this list is, in my opinion, harder to do than the first 2 things we talked about, but incredibly valuable if you can make it happen. And this is to be strategic about the companies that you target and to join a firm that's small, growing quickly, and run by experienced real estate professionals with institutional backgrounds. Small shops allow you to get involved with pretty much everything from day one on the job, which will give you a huge amount of hands-on experience in a very short period of time. These types of opportunities are also very likely to exist in markets like New York and LA, since many experienced real estate professionals with institutional backgrounds choose to start their own firms at some point and will often stay local when building their companies to leverage their existing relationships and to stay close to family. The peers of mine in the industry who progressed most quickly in their 20s followed this strategy almost to a T by either joining a small company as their first non-partner level hire, joining a growing startup alongside a founder with leadership experience at a major institutional firm, or even joining a new business line within an established organization that allowed that person to take on a significant amount of responsibility early on in their career. This point is especially relevant for you if you're looking to break off on your own in the future and you want to jump into entrepreneurship sooner rather than later, since this type of experience will really put you in the trenches working on many of the tasks that you'll also have to take on as a founder of a company. And even if you don't plan to go out on your own in the future, progression within these organizations tends to be significantly faster than what you'd experience within a more established company, which is not only beneficial from a job title standpoint, but also usually allows you to get early access to things like participation in fees and promoted interest on the specific deals that you work on. The goal here is to put yourself in a position where you're working for and learning from people who know what they're doing from a real estate perspective, but the actual company or department itself is still relatively small and new, and they're looking to grow quickly and have the experience and access to capital necessary to make that a reality. And if you want to make sure that you have what it takes to land roles at top firms in cities like New York or LA, and you want to make sure your technical skills are where they need to be to ace an Excel exam if one is given to you during the interview process, as always, make sure to check out our all-in-one membership training platform, Break Into CRE Academy. A membership to the Academy will give you instant access to over 120 hours of video training on real estate financial modeling and analysis. You'll get access to hundreds of practice Excel interview exam questions, sample acquisition case studies, and you'll also get access to the Break Into CRE Analyst Certification exam, which covers topics like real estate pro forma and development modeling, commercial real estate lease modeling, equity waterfall modeling, and many other real estate financial analysis concepts that will help you prove to employers that you have what it takes to tackle the responsibilities of an analyst or associate at a top real estate firm. And if you like this video and want to see more content on this channel on real estate career advice, make sure to hit the like button to let me know, and let me know in the comments any other ways you've seen people move up quickly in the industry far ahead of their peers. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see more videos like this every single week, and I'll see you in the next video.